It's Christmas time once again. I think we've all heard the Christmas story so many times that it's lost a lot of its meaning and its power and its impact on our lives. I mean, this idea, right, of a baby, Jesus being born in a manger, it doesn't surprise us anymore. So this morning, we want to bring it alive for you and for all of us again in a new way. Perhaps it's the greatest story ever told. So I want you to imagine for a moment that we are living in a time when people bow down helplessly before kings and emperors and tyrants. That's what they know. Bow down before the powerful and stay in your place. And then one day, we hear about kings kneeling down before a baby. And not just any baby, but the baby of a poor peasant family. What is this? Unbelievable story. No one's ever heard anything like it before. What is going on? And wise men bowing down before a poor little infant. Now imagine that we're living in a time when most of what we know are stories of wars and injustice and oppression and takeovers and bloody battles and corruption. And then suddenly we start to catch the whiff of a story of a humble birth in a manger. Imagine no one's ever heard the story before and are hearing it for the first time. Because we all know that what we have seen and heard about power and how it works and how it's given to those with the most money and the most weapons and those who are well groomed with the finest pedigree. But then people begin to talk and whisper and tell stories about the power of love as a primary power to change the world. Never heard it before. Now people are talking about it. This morning, to try to bring this amazing moment alive, this moment in human history when people realized that the power of love was the most and greatest power there is. So I've invited the multi-talented and beloved Dionne Lambert to help me. And if you'll excuse me for a moment, I'm going to get ready as the story begins to unfold.
We take you this morning into the heavens, to a special cloud where the angels dwell and where God has his main office. Excuse me. God has her main office. The time is a few days before the birth of Jesus, but nobody knows what's about to happen. Not even Sister God. Down on earth, humans are partaking in the unusual array of transgressions: pride, covetousness, lust, envy, gluttony, anger, sloth, lasciviousness, oppression, betrayal, war, and deceit, just to name a few. God is not having it. She's beside herself and not really quite knowing what to do yet. And yes, it's true, what you often suspected: God is a black woman. Her angel Gabrielle is sitting with her in her office trying to cheer her up.
Yes.
The Earth Project is having some challenges because our narrator did not get the correct script. I'm gonna set this one straight.
All right.
But if God was one of us, just a slob like one of us, just a stranger on a bus, trying to make her way home. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Where is Gabriel?
God. Wow, you seem a little different today, God. What's going on?
Gabe, listen, I'm working on this project that is going to completely pivot Earth. It's big, it's huge.
What? Your Earth project? What do you mean? Pivot.
Should I tell him?
Come on, God.
All right. Gabe, I created these human creatures, but they have completely lost their mind.
I noticed.
They've forgotten who they are and that they come from us. I even equipped them with tools to help them navigate through their time on Earth. I gave them intelligence. I gave them reason. I gave them the ability to create and love and feel joy.
Yes.
I even gave them bodies to swim in the ocean, to feel the warmth of the sun. They can make friends and make love and enjoy all of creation. Listen, I even made sure there were fruits with oils in them to help keep their skins lubricated. Hello, shea butter.
Hey.
But all they seem to want to do is fight, cheat, lie, steal, backstab, and hate. It's enough to make me want to cry.
Whoa, don't cry. Don't do that again. The last time you got depressed about humanity and started crying, your tears flooded the entire world. You destroyed almost all of creation. Don't do that again.
He's so dramatic. It was not that bad. It cleared up after about 40 days. It takes you that long to trim your beard. Okay, listen, here's my idea. The only way I'm ever gonna fully understand humans is to become one of them for a little while.
What? Are you kidding? You become human? I'm really uncomfortable with that, I have to say. Besides, who the heck is gonna run the universe?
Well, I guess. Look, you can't screw it up no bad. We're worse than it is. I'm only gonna be gone for a few millennia.
Me? Well, it's about damn time. You know, now that you put it that way, look, God, you haven't taken a break since the seventh day after you created the world. Everyone needs a break sometimes. Come on now, especially someone in a job as demanding as yours. You know, you need to take care of yourself and, you know, so that you can take care of everybody else. That's exactly why you created the concept of sabbatical. I remember it all now. It's coming back to me. You know, you go away for a while from your job, you do something interesting, and when you come back, you're better at what you do. I think it's brilliant.
Right before I go down, what we'll need to do is get some things together so that we can, make sure that it's successful.
Well, I mean, you know, God, think about it. Some people write books on their sabbatical. You know, your first 5 books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, they were a huge hit among the 12 tribes of Israel.
I know.
Well, I bet that with a little effort, you could write a new book that would be an international bestseller. I even have a title for you. The Bible.
Gabriel Elijah. Dude, you already got the job. Stop talking. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. If I have a chance to walk around and feel what it's like to be human, it would help me be more well-rounded and compassionate as a deity. Okay, so for the purpose of conversation, let's imagine if I go down to Earth and take the form of a human, do you think I should materialize at the age of 50? You know, there's an age that's kind of respectable. They might take me more seriously then.
You know, that'd be all wrong, God. If you're going to do this, if you're going to do it, you need to do it right. You need to get the experience. You need to experience the whole enchilada, mama.
Okay.
You need to be wholly dependent like an infant. And you definitely need to experience puberty and adolescence if you're ever going to understand what it's like to be human. I mean, just getting through the 7th and 8th grades will make you different.
True that. If I'm gonna do this, I need to do it right and have the full experience.
Yeah. And to protect you during your time down there, I think you should choose a mother who's wealthy, lots of money, Roman royalty, gold.
No, that ain't gonna work. While all of us up here understand that the lives of the rich and the powerful are often as troubled and dysfunctional as everybody else's, sometimes even more so, most people don't really get that.
Well, that's true. So what are you thinking? Come into the world as a humble, poor, simple woman? I mean, that way, people will realize at least that you're not the God only of the rich and the powerful, but you're the God of all. I mean, and they'll see that you exist even in the simplest, most humble people and places.
Say less, Gabriel. You had me at God of all. So instead of being born in Rome or one of the capitals of Africa or Asia, I'll be born in a small village, some remote town outside of the Roman Empire, place like Bethlehem.
Oh, wow. I'm loving this idea. So you're thinking, what do you think? Boy or girl? What's the plan?
God, that's right. They still make you choose down there. Well, I gave women my intuition, so she might figure out my plan and find a way out of it. So I guess I'll diminish that capacity and become a boy. I'll battle with my ego for a little bit, but it'll work out. Besides, the people down there are pretty sexist and Neanderthal-like, so boys have a little more opportunity to have influence down there.
You know, that's too bad. You know that people can't see that men and women are still made of the same God substance and equally powerful, just with different capacities.
Yeah, so maybe while I'm down there, I can do something to advocate for equality of all people, too.
But God, don't you want to wait until the invention of the satellite television and the era of the 24-hour news network and the internet? I mean, that way your story would get much better coverage. It would spread so much faster. I mean, by appearing now in the 1st century, you're going to have to rely on word of mouth being passed down between generations and generations. I mean, it could take decades to spread your message, and they don't have Google Translate. They don't have any of that stuff. And we all know what happens when a message is passed down and translated and gone from person to person to person to person.
Yeah.
It's like the telephone game.
I mean, it's not ideal, but we can't afford to wait 2,000 years. At this rate, the humans are going to destroy each other if we don't do something, and now.
All right, well, once you go down there, I mean, really go down there and live as a human being, maybe you'll understand them finally, and you'll be able to explain it to me. And then maybe they will actually trust you and be able to relate to you, because you can be a little moody sometimes, God.
Gabriel, don't make me give your job to Michael.
Just then, God slips into a portal. God falls down a dark tunnel through space and lands like a speck of magic in the ovary of Mary, instantly fertilizing her egg.
probably thought that angels played harps up in heaven, but they're all playing saws. See, this morning we're trying to flip the script a little bit so that we could get out of the mindset that we have about this holiday, about God, about ourselves, about the incarnation, about Jesus. I loved it. Dionne, thank you for playing God. I hope when I get there that God looks just like you. I think that we need to treat everybody as if God could look like them. You know, as if when our lives are over, we go up before our Maker and we look into our Maker's eyes, and whoever and whatever that God looks like, that we feel that we have done right by that person and their people. That's the kind of world that I want to live in, a world where we give back to each other and we care about one another, and we don't let those things like how people look or what religion or what they believe, we don't let those things divide us, what country they came from, what language they speak. Have you ever been in one of those situations where you're just really down and out and you don't know who to turn to? You may have done something that you're ashamed of and you don't know who to tell. You don't know what really to do about it, and you don't know who you're going to ask about it. I've been in that situation. And I know that there's times when I've dropped down on the floor with my head on the ground, just asking God what to do or asking God for forgiveness. And those are intense and dramatic moments when we are feeling that we have no place to turn. And when I think about, God being all perfect up in some heaven somewhere and being so far away and far removed and so perfect in every way, then I think, well, how could I pray to that God? What could that God do to understand what I've been through? And so it can be a kind of a scary God, and a lot of people are scared of God. And so this idea that in the Christian idea of God, where God comes down to earth and lives as a human being from the time of birth all the way through, deals with annoying relatives, deals with, having to have diapers changed, deals with betrayal and not being understood, hurting, sore feet, and all the things that we deal with. And that is an idea of a God that I feel like no matter what I'm going through, I can turn to a God that's walked in my shoes before. And so that's what makes Jesus as an incarnation of God such a beautiful, beautiful concept and way to connect with God and with what's holy at the center of the world. Now, I know that not everybody believes in God. Most of us don't have any clue how to really understand what we mean when we use the word God. Not everybody really, has heard about this idea of incarnation. I mean, incarnation, carne means meat or flesh, in the flesh. This idea of a God that comes down and takes the form of flesh. I mean, when you think of an abstract God that's never really been in our shoes, you think, yeah, it's so easy to say love your neighbor, but you're thinking, God, you don't know my neighbor. My neighbor's a jerk, How am I going to love my neighbor? So this idea of a God that can be incarnated and walk around is very compelling to me, but I also want to make it something that means something to us. And so that it's not just some idea that we're talking about. So when you think of God, I'm curious, what qualities does God have or represent to you? So just call out some of the things. Love, right? Forgiveness, peace, mercy, empathy, grace, caring, wholeness, compassion, strength, light. So now, when you think about it, so let's take something like kindness. It's just a word. I just said it. Doesn't make it real. Kindness. It's an abstract thought. It's kindness. Hey, isn't that nice? Hey, we all like kindness. But the only way that kindness can walk around and live and be felt by people is if somebody acts kind. That means brings it into the flesh, makes it real with their own flesh, and acts kind to somebody else. And when we embody any of these qualities that you've just called out, we incarnate God. Right? The qualities of God come through us because, in essence, God doesn't have hands with which to hold a sick baby. God doesn't have arms with which to wrap around a person who needs a hug. But you do, and I do. And so when we do this, we become the embodiment of God. When you were a child, did you ever get lost in the grocery store when your mom was shopping or your dad and you got lost? It happened to me a number of times. I don't know what that says about me, but I would, they get onto the microphone. Excuse me, we have a young child here who is lost. And I always appreciated those stores that they'd flip the script and say, we have a parent has lost their child. This child is looking for their parent, and blame the parent for losing the child. But the thing is that when somebody comes and helps us, I mean, you're scared as a kid. I was just at the gathering place down the block from us a few weeks ago with my daughter, who's now 11, just turned 11 last week, and her friend. And they wanted me to climb that big castle structure. I've been there a lot of times. I've always avoided climbing through that thing, but I couldn't really avoid it on this day. And so here I am. I'm climbing through these tunnels and over these wobbly rope bridges and all this stuff. And they're like, come on, you got to see this. And there's people everywhere. I mean, they're swarming. People are falling through the rope ladders and all this stuff. And it's kind of chaotic, but everybody's having a great time. And we, squeeze through people and we wait for people to come down and we go up and we end up on this, I think you're like 4 or 5 stories up at the top of the castle. And I'm out there and I'm overlooking the river and it's beautiful in the city and it's gorgeous. And I can hear the kids playing behind me. And then I feel this tug on my shirt and it's my daughter. And she said, Dad, there's this little boy over here. He's crying. And I turn around, and there's this little kid, couldn't be more than 4 years old. And he's not just crying, he's weeping, and because he's lost he said, I lost my brother. I said, what's the matter? He said, I lost my brother. I don't know where I am. I don't know how to get down. I don't know where my brother is. And he's completely frightened. And so we said, hey, buddy, no problem. Come down with us. We were just going to go down. We'll all go down together. You're fine. You're safe. We'll find your brother. We'll find your grandfather. We'll find him. Let's go. And so, he cried it took us 7-8 minutes to wind our way out of this thing. And he was crying the whole time. There was nothing I could say. We're doing fist bumps and I'm trying high fives and everything. And this kid is just like, and then as soon as we pop out the final little opening, there's his grandfather and his brother sitting right there waiting for us. And he sees them. I say, hey, buddy, look, they're right here. Then he starts crying even harder. There's something about that. But he was fine. But in that moment, my daughter, when she came up and tugged on me and said, hey, there's this boy, he's crying, he needs some help. Can we help him? She was being an incarnation of God in that moment. We can incarnate God in the simplest ways. And that's why God is present right here with us. Jesus is present right here with us, if you will. That because I can feel the love in this place, I can feel the understanding in this place, I can feel the brotherhood and sisterhood and siblinghood of all of us together, no matter how different we are or where we come from or what we believe. I feel the caring. I know that if I fell out of off this chancel, that you guys would run over and help me out. You know, in a little bit later, we're going to, at the end of this service, after the benediction, anybody who wants to come forward, we're going to have a communion service. It's a traditional service. It's not, we do it here in a way that's an open table for all people. You don't have to believe a particular way. You don't have to have been baptized in a particular way. It is the idea of a table and a meal where we break bread and we bless each other, and we are blessed by the breath of life just because we are alive and together. So it's a communion table the way I believe and our tradition believes it was originally and always meant to be, a time to remember and to come together as one family of humanity across all our differences, a truly welcome table. So I invite you after the benediction, if you would like to come forward, we're going to do it right up here. You can come take a seat in one of these pews, and we'll call you forward. It's a beautiful little ritual. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's for everybody, Jews, Gentiles, Greeks, anybody can come and be a part of this. And because the idea is that we are all pregnant with God right now. We are all pregnant with God in every moment. We give birth to God every time we embody one of those qualities of kindness or compassion and generosity and mercy and peace and forgiveness and all of those things. It's not just Dionne who gets to embody God around here. It's all of us. God comes through us. It's a beautiful thing. Think about that. Feel that. Take that in. God is coming through you right now. And when you walk out of here, for the rest of this day, you're going to have dozens of opportunities to incarnate the holy in this world. And when you do that, and you do that not only today and not only in this season, then Christmas is every day of your life. And you bring Christmas into everybody's world. God is with you. I love you. Amen.
And ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plain, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria, Gloria, in excelsis Deo, Gloria, in excelsis Deo.
Hey, we're so happy you're visiting with us online today. We love connecting with people all across the country and around the world, sharing our powerful message of love beyond belief.
There's something new happening here. You can now join All Souls as a virtual member. Our virtual membership is designed for friends who live outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and who want to engage with All Souls in a meaningful way.
You can be part of an expanding family, a global family really, wherever you are. If you live in Oklahoma,
Ohio,
or Orange County, California,
Canada,
or Cameroon. By becoming a virtual member, you'll be able to deepen your connections with members and friends here in Tulsa and with members wherever you are.
Each week, you'll receive special All Souls content tailored for you, our virtual members. Virtual members have access to pastoral care, to personal prayers, and also receive invitations to exclusive web events.
You can learn more, and if you're ready, you can become a virtual member today by visiting allsoulschurch.org/virtual membership.
We're grateful our ministries are having a positive impact on your life, and we want to share the good news of love beyond belief with more and more people. So no matter what, we need your support to keep this ministry growing and thriving, so please consider making a gift today. You can do so by texting
Love BB for Love Beyond Belief to 73256, or simply visit our website. You are a blessing in our lives. May you be blessed
and be a blessing.